let's talk about our current reality of media and social media usage in the district. We investigated, we looked on multiple platforms, multiple like sites, and we talked about how there is a strong social media presence in SMSD. We use it to highlight things like SMSD All Stars, things that students are doing that are really cool, upcoming events like job fairs, hiring fairs, stuff like that. So there is regular and strong good usage of those things already in place. So it's kind of hard to come up with like too much to improve when we're already doing a pretty good job at that. And when we talk about areas for improvement, we thought it could be more consistent, widespread use. So yes, there's the main district page that gets used a lot, has a lot of things on there, but the social media and media in general presence from school to school was pretty varied. My school has an Instagram page and a Twitter, but we looked and not all the Twitters were the same or being used in the same way. So we thought that for like the general public and for the community, it could be really helpful to have a more consistent usage. So we'll get more into that. So our strategic plan, number one, get input from what stakeholders want. They're the ones viewing the media and partaking in that. So we thought, since they're the consumers of that, was important for us to have an idea of like, what do you really want from our social media usage? Are you satisfied with it? Do you want more? What would you like to see different? What would you like to continue? And again, we'd like to unify that social media presence, professional development for administrators on how can we be using media more in our schools to create a community impact. We thought maybe appointing a social media point person. Social media could be its whole entire job. That could be one person's job to do stuff with that. So we thought maybe just appointing a teacher leader or someone with that, diversifying which platforms we use, and then increasing interaction with the community. So step one, get input from what stakeholders want. Media is to be consumed by others, not the creators. So we have to think that when we are putting things on social media, when we're sending out newsletters, what do people want to know from those? Not what I think should go on there. I mean, I'm pretty smart, but I have an idea of what people want. But if you're doing this for someone else as a service, you should get their input of what they actually want. And then we talked about unifying our social media presence. So consistencies of handles or page names. When we went and looked for different schools' social media accounts, people named them differently. And so if I wanted to go find out what's happening, if I had kids who were in different schools, it might be kind of difficult, might not be obvious where to find them. And then we also thought increasing use at individual schools across the district. So we found, some schools have an Instagram, some don't, but maybe, Shawnee Mission East, just for example, like their orchestra has an Instagram and a Twitter, but their whole school as a whole does not. So we just thought, there should be some sort of representation of every school across the district, because we know that people are getting their information from their phones more, and we're all on social media all the time, so might as well use that and increase our presence on those platforms. Step 3, we just want to, make sure everyone is aware of how they can use it. Just kind of, we're all on our own journey to change and growth. And everyone has a different comfort level with technology and social media. So maybe an administrator isn't really sure how to use social media, or it seems kind of scary, like, why would I do that? So just getting professional development on why you should have a social media presence and how, like, what are some steps you can take to increase that. And then because of that, appointing someone that this could be like their job, if we had money, a stipend, just to reward them for, you know, the good job and work they're doing. It could be an administrator, but we talked about like administrators might not be comfortable with that. They might not post on social media all the time, so they don't really know like what the best way to do that is. But you know, teachers do. I mean, there's teacher TikToks now. Not that we need school TikToks. But you know, there's someone in your building who probably is all over that, and so you could use their skills, and like we've learned about, capitalize on the skills and knowledge of people that are already there. You don't need to go seek this out. Someone already knows how to do that. And then diversify platforms that are used. I think our schools use Facebook and Twitter a lot, but our kids don't use Facebook. They have them, but it's kind of like the old people social media. I mean, I use Facebook, but it's definitely like I see people my age are really on Instagram the most. So if we could increase like what platforms are being used, we could reach more people. If you're only posting things on Facebook, but that person doesn't ever get on it, they're not going to see it. So we just thought diversifying the platforms we could use. There are apps and websites that will manage that for you. All you have to do is sign up, and you can say, I want to post this, and I'll post it to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram all at the same time in the format that that website uses. And it's kind of brought into this quote from page 183. They say, a successful public relations strategy focuses on stories being spread across a wide range of media. So if we're only funneling it into Facebook, maybe sometimes Twitter, you just need to keep up with the trends of what people are using and how they are receiving information. And with like Instagram, you could really use pictures a lot more. Twitter isn't always as friendly with the pictures, and so it's just kind of increasing a visual presentation of the information. And finally, we wanted to increase interaction with the community. It talks about how, and we've learned how communication shouldn't just be me telling you the information. True communication and discussion goes back and forth. So we wanted to find ways to create opportunities for community members to interact with the media. So maybe ask the comments, we like ask them like, hey, what was your favorite thing your kid did today at school? Just getting them to interact in a positive way. That's not just give information all the time, but that it is a free flowing back and forth, and you can learn from them. And it's not just a fancy newsletter format. So again, that's our strategic plan, really focusing on what do people want from us? How can we increase our usage, increase the visibility of what we're putting out there, to share the positive stories that we have going on, and increase the interaction we have with others. Thanks so much for listening.